Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for Wine Wednesday, another great installment of this weekly feature we've been doing from the Maryland Wineries Association. My name is Jim Bachman. I am the Director of Communications for the Maryland Wineries Association, and I'm joined today by Lauren Zimmerman of Port of Leonardtown Winery and Jane Vogt of Janemark. Both of these Southern Maryland wineries are here to talk to you about the great wines that they have to offer and about the wonderful options there are to support Maryland wine right now. And I am going to hand it over to Lauren. Lauren, thank you for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Port of Leonardtown Winery.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Lauren Zimmerman. I am the winemaker here at Port of Leonardtown Winery. This is my sixth vintage working with the Port of Leonardtown. And although I've been with the in the industry for over 15 years, I've worked with wineries all over North America and even lived in New Zealand for a vintage. But I have to admit, I absolutely love working with the Maryland wine industry. And something that we love to tell everybody is that there are over 100 wineries to date in the Maryland wine industry, which usually surprises a lot of people. And it's pretty impressive. And in St. Mary's alone, there are two new wineries that just opened up, Zella Winery and Generations Winery. And along with the new wineries, it's also a booming craft beverage industry down here in Southern Maryland. We have two new distilleries that just opened, our Tobacco Barn Distillery and Southern Trail Distillery, along with a new brewery, which we recently partnered up with and did a really cool project for a cherry sour beer that they used one of our old retired Shamerson barrels. And it made this really cool beer that has like a really, red kind of cool color and lots of cherry flavors. So that was from Breton Bay Brewing just up the road from us. So we're excited to pair with them. And for those who are not familiar with Port of Leonardtown, we are in St. Mary's County, Southern Maryland, and we are obviously Leonardtown, hence the name Port of Leonardtown Winery. We are a unique venture, without a doubt. We are a cooperative, and which means we are owned and operated by grape growers. And in 2009 is the first year we made wine here, and essentially we had 13 farmers, individual grape growers that came together to form the cooperative and open the winery. So instead of each individual vineyard trying to fund opening their own winery, they partnered together to share the expense of the project, and they all bring their grapes to the Port of Leonardtown and label it all under one label. So it's kind of a cool venture. It makes my job interesting as the winemaker, dealing with essentially 13 different bosses, but it's fun. There's never a dull moment here, and we do a lot of really cool wines. We have something for everybody. We have our dry premium black label wines all the way up to our sweet and fruity swirl series, which are more of the everyday kind of wine drinking style wines. And I'm actually going to start off with our Albario, and this wine is one of my all-time favorites. It is traditional Albario style, dry, super aromatic. It is a fruit bomb. It has peach, tangerine, a lemon zest kind of flavor. I just absolutely love the aromatics on the Albario. And this wine is aged and fermented in stainless steel, so 0 oak barrels, as you see behind me. No oak aging at all, so that really preserves the fresh, fruity character of this amazing wine. This particular vintage of 2009, we just bottled, and we will not be releasing it until early summer. So it's kind of a teaser here. It's not available on our tasting room yet, but we always do a rest period after bottling. So the wines kind of get shaken up during the bottling process. So we like to give the wine a little time to rest and come together before we release it to you, so it tastes the best it can possibly show. And it is, again, one of my all-time favorites. It's grown locally here in St. Mary's County, all the grapes, and it is just a beautiful dry wine. It has, like I mentioned before, citrus kind of notes to it, which makes it the perfect wine to pair with any seafood, local seafood dishes, oysters, crabs, rockfish is really, really good. We actually have a couple oyster farms right here in St. Mary's County, so it's kind of fun to pair up, and local wine, local seafood is always fun. And anything really, any dish that you would take a wedge of lime or lemon and, squeeze a few drops on, then that's a dish that would be perfect to pair with the Albario. It's a nice pairing. But yeah, we'll be releasing it in early summer, so you'll have to stay tuned. But this is one of my all-time favorite whites here at the winery.
And at this point, I'd like to introduce Jane with Janemark Winery and Vineyards. Jane, how are you?
I'm well. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. Well, thanks for joining us. And what can you tell us about your winery and what you do there?
I'm Jane Vogt from Janemark Winery and Vineyard, and I am the winemaker here. I own this with my husband, Mark, and we just have 2.25 acres of grapes. We're very small, little boutique winery. We make under 1,000 cases a year right now. We hope to grow into about 2,000 cases eventually. We are in the production of right now, actually building our production barn. Bad timing for the economy, but we're kind of in the middle of it now. I'm on land that has been in the family for 6 generations now. My great-great-grandfather bought it in 1877, and it was a tobacco farm for 93 years. And then it was basically used for fields for my horses. And then my husband and I bought it in 91 and raised our kids here. And then we decided to go ahead and start growing grapes and make wine. We lived out in Napa in the mid-'80s and kind of fell in love with the entire industry. So that's sort of where we are with our with the winery right now.
And what wine do you have to start us off with your tasting today?
I have the Vidal Blanc that we're going to do today. And here is our bottle so you can see it. And this is done in all stainless steel. We grow this here on the property in one of the old tobacco fields. And it has, on the nose, it has a lot of tangerine, a lot of pineapple, grapefruit on the palate. And it's just a really nice wine. You can pair it with grilled chicken. Seafood is another thing that it goes really well with. And it's nice and light. It's great for spring and summer. This is a time of year that you really want to grab a nice bottle of Vidal Blanc.
And while you're taking a moment to sample that lovely glass of wine.
I took a sip of it. Yes, I did. And
that's why you're here. I'm going to give a few shout outs to some folks who are in our comments. Trina Boyd says hello to Lauren. She's very happy to see you here. Fabio says he can't wait to have a glass of wine with Maryland crabs. And good crabs can only come from Maryland. And he's living in New York. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate the commentary. All right, Lauren, would you like to share your next wine?
Absolutely. Yes. So the next wine we're going to taste is another. I'm not sure if you can see the label. If I put it up to the camera, I'm not sure what angle you're getting. This is our Vitalicato. So this is one of our all-time favorite wines here. And we just released this one, so it is available in our tasting room. So you can come in and grab a bottle to go, of course. We are open Thursday through Sunday. Typically, we're open 7 days a week, but with all of the COVID action going on, we have reduced our hours to Thursday to Sunday, noon to 6 p.m. But you can come in, grab a bottle to go. And we're also doing wine deliveries. So if you prefer to stay at home, then we can deliver wine to your neighborhood. We're actually doing group deliveries where folks are ordering online and we deliver right into the neighborhood, and you can come out and pick up your wine purchases, and it's nice and easy and safe. So you're welcome to do that. This particular wine is very unique. It is what I like to refer to as summer in a glass. It is very fruit forward. It's fun. It's got a little bit of a Fazante kind of style to it. It is what I would call a extra premium Moscato style. So it's all natural sugar, no sweetness added to it. So although it is a sweet wine, there's no sugar added. It's all natural. And the bubbles that are in it, the little Fazante kind of prickly on your tongue flavor, comes naturally from the fermentation in the tank. So we preserve the natural CO2, and that just makes it a fun, lively wine. It has flavors of tangerine and peaches and oranges, and it's just a fruit bomb. And it's perfect for the summer season, patio season kind of wine. And it is, like I said, it's made in a unique style. We actually drop the tank temperature down to below freezing, and that's what stops the yeast from converting sugars into alcohol. And then that's what preserves the natural sweetness and the CO2 in the wine. So this one is one of our all-time top sellers. We usually sell out pretty quickly in the spring when we release it. And so we ended up tripling production this year, so it'll last a little bit longer, and hopefully everyone can get a few bottles to take home. And again, it is all estate grown here. It's made with Vidal grapes, hence the name Vitilicado. It's kind of a play on words with Vidal grape variety and the Moscato wine style, although I like to say it's definitely a much more premium product than Moscato. So even our dry wine drinkers absolutely adore this wine. It's something for everybody. And this one comes from our vineyard in St. Mary's County. We actually have, as the cooperative I mentioned earlier, we have 13 different farms, and we're spread out all over Southern Maryland. So we have vineyards in Calvert County, St. Mary's County, and Charles County. And I did, I don't know if that map is available, Jim, to pop up to kind of show people where we are. But it's kind of neat to see where all of our vineyards are. We have approximately 40 acres total in the cooperative, and we deal with over 25 grape varieties. So it makes my life interesting as the winemaker. There's it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, having to deal with so many grape varieties. But we it's an advantage because we have so many options when it comes to the blending tables. So the challenge is definitely keeping all the lots separate. So for example, I always keep, Cabernet Franc from Vineyard A separate from Cabernet Franc from Vineyard B. And that way, when we come to the blending table, we have a lot of different spices in the spice rack, so to speak. So we can, sometimes try up to 10 different blends, variations, before we find something that's absolutely perfect. So that's one of the advantages of working with so many grape varieties here. And it's fun. We the coordinating during harvest, it makes my life interesting. I miss the good old days when I could walk into the back field and keep an eye on the grapes and just have the vineyard right there at the winery. But with the cooperative, everything being spread out, I have to really rely on communication with the farmers, and we work together to decide the optimal time to pick the grapes. And we rely on sugar levels and the acid levels and the flavors, of course, of the grapes. And it is a crucial part in the whole winemaking procedure, is being able to pick the grapes at the perfect timing. So it's interesting. Every year is a little bit different. We had a couple frosts, actually 3 in the last week, that has been pretty hard on some of our local vineyards. So it's new challenges every year, and that's what keeps it interesting. And it would be boring otherwise if it was, the same. So keeps us on our toes, and we're always up for any challenge that Mother Nature throws our way. So we ended up this year starting the season a little early. A lot of our vineyards have budded out almost 2.5 weeks earlier than usual, because we had such a warm spell that everything was waking up and growing. But then, we got the frost, unfortunately. But it's we'll see hopefully the vines bounce back and have lots of great grapes to harvest come fall. Here's, I'll put the label up, see if you can see it. Our Vitilicado label.
Looks great.
So I mentioned before, we have our swirl labels and then our black premium labels. So the black labels are more the limited production, the more, those are usually the gold medal winners. They are reserved for our club members mostly, but we do release a lot of them in our tasting room. And then the swirl are the fun and fruity wines that we have. So something for everybody.
So you kind of answered this a little bit with the idea of having a lot of spices in the rack for the blending table. When you're building these wines, do you have a wine in mind based on what vineyard the grapes originate, or do you blend them to make a wine regularly, or is it like a single linear production? It comes from that vineyard, it turns into this wine only.
Oh, I wish it was that simple, but no, it's every year is definitely different. I'm actually, when I do the blending, I'll do blind tasting. So I don't know where the grapes are coming from, which vineyard. And sometimes I'll kind of be biased to particular vineyards, and I'll think they're going to be the reserve grapes that go into our premium black label reserve wines. But then when I do the blending trials and I'm tasting everything blindly and not knowing where it's from, sometimes it surprises me. And one of the other vineyards might be the top dog that I might not have anticipated. So every year is different. It's never the same blends every year. It's 100%. It's different each time. But for some of our wines, like the Albario, it's a varietal wine, so it is made with majority Albario grapes. So that one is typically the same, but it is this particular vintage was actually blended with a splash of the Viognier grapes. So also grown here in southern Maryland, St. Mary's County. But the Viognier, which I like to emphasize the proper pronunciation of this grape variety because I often hear it mispronounced. But Viognier is beautiful aromatics. It's a perfect wine to blend with the Albario. It's generally done dry, so nice dry, crisp flavor, and it's turned out really nice. I'm excited to release it.
Awesome. Let's hang out with Jane for a moment. Jane has a Chambourcin up next, if I am correct.
Yes, we do, and here is, I don't know if you can see it or not, the label on that one. And this is a dry red. We aged it in American oak. And we, again, grew this here on the estate, so it's all estate grown. Completely dry. It's 100% Chambourcin. And the Chambourcin is a hybrid grape. It grows really well here on the East Coast. We make 3 wines with our Chambourcin. We make this dry red. We make a nice dry rosé, and then we've done a port style with it called 1877 after the year that the land was purchased. So we've had a lot of success with it. A lot of people really like our Chambourcin, and I do too. We usually age it in American oak. For the 2019 vintage, it's getting all new oak because those were the only barrels that we had left open. So they got some new oak barrels. Wasn't intentional, but that's just the way it's going to be. So it's a lot of nice cherries, blackberries. It's very smoky, a little bit of cinnamon on it. You're going to want to pair it with a nice steak, hamburger on the grill, or anything with a red sauce. So, your spaghetti, your lasagna, anything like that. We also make a nice chili with it, put some of that in your sauce, and then also pair it with the dish. And we're located down here in Prince George's County. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. There's 4 wineries down here, so we are only about 9 miles, the whole cluster. There's 3 of us that are within 3 miles of each other, so we're pretty close. 2 more are going to be coming up available in another couple of years. We have some new wineries. The vineyard's already planted. And so it's exciting down here. We, have our own little wine region down here, which is fun.
There is something to be said about the nice, tight collection of wineries that give you the opportunity to provide a really great opportunity for the consumer. Nothing like having a good, solid trail with wineries that are supportive of each other and recognize that it's kind of that critical mass that helps to grow everybody's business.
Right, we're on the Legacy Wine Trail, about 45 minutes outside of Washington, D.C., so it's really not, as long as there's no traffic, we're not very far, really. We're about 30 minutes from Arlington. People come over all the time, and they're just amazed how close we are to them. We get people from Baltimore and Annapolis. It's not that far of a drive, so we get a lot of people from around the region. So we're very nicely located.
That's wonderful, and I'm sure you get a lot of traffic for people who are headed out to Southern Maryland also passing through.
We do. We absolutely do.
Awesome. Once we finish the tasting of Lauren's last wine, I think we can take a couple of minutes to kind of talk about how your businesses are reacting to what's going on with this whole COVID thing. Kind of give our viewers an opportunity to learn how they can get your wines directly from the winery or through retailers that may be supporting your wineries. And then we'll just chat a little bit more and wrap it up. We're almost already halfway through, so great job so far. We have some more fans in the chat that I would like to call out. Tanya says hello to Jane. She said it was great to see you before all the craziness happened. And Marie Helene is on, waving at everyone, so I hope she's having a wonderful time. And if you have any questions for Jane or for Lauren, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments section. We'll address those as they pop up. Anything from what's your favorite style of wine to why do you like to make wine? I'm sure all questions are game. So throw those in there. And in the meantime, I will kick it back to Lauren to talk about the rosé.
All right. So we are getting into rosé season here now that the weather's finally warming up. So we are very excited. This is another one that we bottled in March. And again, we don't like to release it immediately. So we wanted to give the wine a little bit of time to rest before releasing. And this particular wine we're going to release on May 1st, just in time for Mother's Day. So you can spoil your mom with the best gift around, which is, of course, wine. And it is, so this wine, you can see the label here. There you go. It is, here we go. So yeah, it's made with Chambourcin grapes, and it is a nice off-dry wine. So it does have a touch of sweetness, and it is, fruity. It has lots of strawberry character, strawberry and melon. And this wine is a wine that we do every year. So the Chaptico Rosé, and it's very popular in the summertime on our patio. And for those who have not been to Port of Leonardtown, we do have a nice patio outside that you can enjoy, and it is right in Leonardtown Park. So it's a beautiful area to come and relax, and we're right beside McIntosh Creek. So you can even rent a kayak or a paddleboard and go for a little adventure, preferably before drinking wine, because that could be not a good experience. But we actually offer packages for sip and paddle that you can go out on an adventure and come back and relax with a glass of wine on our patio. And we do live music every weekend. Once, of course, we open up again after the order to stay home is lifted, but we are excited to do the live music every weekend, and we also do First Friday events. The first Friday of every month, we pair up with the Leonardtown, town of Leonardtown, who does a lot of cool activities on the first Fridays. And we usually have something special going on, or a drawing, or win prizes, and live music. And we always encourage people to bring food and enjoy it on our patio. We do offer cheese platters and that kind of thing for people who want to hang out and enjoy it. But you're welcome to bring a picnic, and of course, furry friends are welcome too. We have lots of dog friends that come in, and as long as they're, you know, friendly and on a leash, then they're more than welcome to come and hang out at Port of Leonardtown. And yeah, just the rosé is the grapes are actually grown a lot in Calvert County for this blend, and it is majority Chambourcin grapes. It has a little splash of Barbera in it, and it is touch of sweetness. And we are actually, for the first time, we're experimenting with doing a sparkling rosé. So it's not yet packaged yet, but we are in the process of working on that. So excited to get a sparkling rosé released to the public for the summertime sipping. And yeah, this wine is one of my favorites. Our rosé actually won best rosé in Maryland for 2 years in a row. So the 2017 and 2018 vintage. This is our 2019, just newly bottled. And at the winery here, we use a bottling truck, which is kind of cool. If you ever stop by the winery when we're in full bottling action, it's a lot of fun to see. We hire a company that comes in, and it's all of the equipment is on this 18-wheeler transport trailer truck. And we essentially hook the hoses up to the truck, and they do the washing of the bottles, and they'll sparge each bottle with a little bit of CO2 to help protect the wine when it's being filled. And then the line will do corks or screw cap. We do both. Our black labels are usually under corks, so the Albario and our black reserve Bordeaux blends and our Barbera wine, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Chardonnay, they're all bottled under the cork closure. But our sweet and fruity summertime wines are usually under the screw cap, so a little more easy access for you. It's no corkscrew required. So when you're out boating and picnicking or hiking or biking, then it's nice to have that convenience. And this year we actually did our first canned wine, which was pretty cool. It was greatly received, and everybody really enjoyed it. So that was our Kraken Mac, and it was a apple wine that had a little bit of a sparkle to it. So that was fun and refreshing. And we hope to do more in the future, so we're excited about that. But we will be bottling our reds 2 weeks from now. So that's what we're doing right now in the winery. We're really gearing up all of our new reds for filtering and cold stabilizing and all that jazz to make the nice crystal clear, delicious wines that you guys get to enjoy. And we'll be bottling on May 7th. So that'll be an action-packed day here at Port of Leonardtown.
Canned wines seem to be making quite the splash with consumers right now. We had Damon on from Urban Winery, and he was talking about the impact that canned wine has had for his winery, and just the opportunity to experiment with not only a package that consumers aren't totally familiar with yet, but it gives you a chance to maybe bring some flavor attributes to wine that people may not be expecting every time they go to their favorite local winery or to a retail liquor store to pick up wine. Just new chances for people to become re-engaged with a product that they think that they may know enough about already. So
yeah,
go ahead.
It's much more casual approach to wine drinking, and we have a lot of beaches here in Southern Maryland and a lot of boating, so it's nice to have something that's not glass and not breakable, and just something you can throw in the cooler, and it chills a lot quicker, the can versus the bottle. And it's single serve. Actually, one can, $3.75 is 2 glasses of wine. We have to remind everyone that they think it's one glass, but it's usually 375 ml. It's considered 2 glasses of wine. So
I guess it depends on who's pouring the wine, right?
yeah, exactly.
So, in the height of all of this craziness around us right now, this stay-at-home order and all of this impact that this is having on local businesses, how can consumers get a hold of your wines particularly? Statewide, consumers are able to go to wineries to pick up for curbside pickup or pick up in a tasting room as long as they leave right away. They're able to have wine delivered to them either through direct shipment or through literally a delivery to their front door. What are your two wineries doing, and how can consumers get a hold of your wines?
You want me to go first? I can go first. We are doing curbside and home delivery. So you just call us, place your order, pay for it over the phone, and set up a time for the curbside. I deliver to people's homes on Monday and Thursday. It's the same ordering procedure. We have our paperwork in now to start shipping. We hope that's in another couple of weeks. And we're also working on our website to be able to go into the website and start ordering these things, and you'll be able to pick whether you want it delivered or curbside for us. And we're also going to do a virtual farmers market with Calvert County. That list goes out tomorrow. So you can pick up your wine in Calvert County on Sixes Road, or you can have it delivered over there as well. And that will be, my wine will be delivered, but also other items from other farms. So you'll be able to get meats, eggs, vegetables, that type of thing. Just look on my Facebook page in the morning and we'll have a link for that.
And Lauren, how about for you?
Yeah, we are very similar. We do have our tasting room open Thursday through Sunday, noon to 6 p.m. We are typically open 7 days a week, but we did cut back our hours for wine pickup only. Wine to go, we don't offer tastings or wine by the glass, unfortunately, but we want to keep everybody safe, customers and staff included. And if people want to call the winery ahead of time, we can walk the wine right out and put it in your trunk, and you don't even have to get out of your car. So it's very safe and comfortable process. And we also do direct delivery to individuals' homes. We've been doing group deliveries. So if you go on our website, a lot of our local communities are, we're taking our winery van there and doing drop-off points for people that pre-order online. So if you visit www.polwinery.com, then you can go to our shop and you can select a local community that you can have the wine delivered to. Or you can have it delivered directly to your house if you want to pay for the shipping, but we will deliver to communities for free. So that's kind of a nice little perk to get people their wine without having to leave and drive around and that kind of thing. So, and we're doing all the precautions with the masks and the washing the hands and keeping 6 feet apart and doing the typical stuff that you're seeing everywhere. So it's but we feel like wine is a great way to kind of ease the strain of all the stress that's going on. So we're happy to get the wine out to everybody, and we're excited to be able to open up in the future. But right now it's safety first. So
I think you have a lot of people who would agree with you that wine is a great way to suffer through this.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So how does, aside from all of the impacts that this stay-at-home order is going to have on business, maybe in the long run or in the very near short term, how does 2020 look as a winemaker or as a winery operator? How does 2020 look as a year for wine? Are you excited about the prospects of great quality wines coming out this year, or is this a year that people are concerned about what's happening? Is it too early to tell?
Jane, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I will. We're going to be bottling our 2019 wines next month, and we're all excited about that. 2019 was just the perfect growing season here in Maryland. Nice, long, hot, dry days, which grapes just absolutely love. For the 2020 season, it's going to be a little slow, and we've already, as Lauren had said, we've had frost here as well. Our Albario was the only one that was out, and usually it just shrugs it off and you don't even know it, and you can't tell on the leaves. It didn't kill anything, but this year was a little different, so it's killed some of my primary. And so, but the secondary will come out. It won't be as fruitful, but there will still be fruit. So we're just really hoping there's no more frost until May 15th is about the deadline, where you're always kind of looking on the calendar whether you're going to have another frost event or not. Although Mother Nature, as we know, she just has a mind of her own and throws anything she wants to at us. And as a farmer, you just have to adjust to it. So you're kind of figuring out now what you want to make for next year. If you want to source some grapes from local farmers, I've already made those arrangements to buy from 2 local farms. And so we're looking forward to it. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this being a really nice year. I'm not looking for large crowds, of course. I think we're going to be a small crowds for a while here, which is fine. People will get a little bit more personalized attention, which is exciting for us. We like it that way. But when we're up and running full strength, we do Friday night music and that type of thing with food trucks. First Friday night, since our logo is an owl, we call it, Friday Night Hoot. And we're looking forward to that too. But it's also going to be really nice just to have our a small intimate group. And we can probably do more vineyard tours and that type of thing. So I think it's going to be exciting.
And how about for Port of Leonardtown?
Yeah, I have to agree with Jane that I feel like the new wines that we're bottling, the 29 vintage, are absolutely phenomenal. This is probably the best vintage since I've been in Maryland since 2012. And I'm super excited to get these wines out, and perfect vintage, lots of sun, dry weather. So the grapes really were able to ripen on the vine and get those full, ripe, juicy berry flavors and nice big sugar content, which of course means more alcohol. So that's always a plus. And it's true. Every year is different. And it goes back to the question you asked earlier. If every blend is the same each year, it's absolutely not, because the grapes are different every year. And if you remember 2018, the summer that never stopped raining, it was overcast and gloomy and cloudy all through the summer. And of course the vineyards, the grapes didn't get the full ripeness that they typically would. So the resulting wines were very nice, just a different style, lighter alcohol, instead of a big robust, 13-14% red. We had some of our reds were 11% alcohol, so a little lighter, but I mean, that's has its advantages too. Some people prefer the lighter style wines. So every year is a little bit unique, but 2019 is definitely a vintage to watch. And you're starting to see a lot of the 2019 whites coming out now. So they're all showing really well. And the reds will take a little bit longer before you see some of them, but they're going to be pretty phenomenal too. So good things for the future in Maryland wine.
Well, that's encouraging to hear. I think people are looking forward to some positive things coming out of all of this. Once everybody's able to get out of their homes and come and explore a little bit, I hope that they are all looking forward to exploring all of Maryland's wonderful wineries. How about wine club memberships at your wineries or anything like that? Do you have availability? Is there anything that consumers can do to join whatever wine club you may have?
We do have a wine club. It's very small because we've only been open for 3 years. So we were just sort of ramping up on our cases when we had that terrible rainy 2018 season. That one day it'll be a far, far remote remembrance of it, because right now it's just sort of still in our face a little bit. We actually bottled a little less than 500 cases in 2018 because the rain just ruined most of our grapes. So that really set us up for a lot of shortages. And in order to keep my wine club members happy, I just had to limit it. And I just expanded it a little bit for our 3rd-year anniversary, which is the first weekend in March. So we just got that in before we sort of had this shutdown. And I still have a few openings, not very many. And the next allotment will come out in June. So we're really hoping by June we can start having people back out at the winery. We're currently expanding our patio because I think we're gonna have to space out a little bit more, even though our tasting room is also very large, but we want more outdoor space. So we're in the process now of expanding that area so we can have more people and very comfortable there.
Lauren, how about for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a club membership of over 800 members now. So we are very fortunate to have our club members to rely on during these tough times. So we actually offer 2 different club options. We have our Captain's Club membership, which is our dry premium black label wines like the Albario here. And it is 3 bottles shipped out quarterly. And the other option is our Commander's Club, which is the sweeter, fruit forward kind of wine club. And we did actually have to cap our Captain's Club membership because we were selling out of all of our dry wines. So it was a nice problem to have, but it made it a little awkward in the tasting room when folks would come in and we were sold out. And now we're re-releasing now that we've bottled some more. So we have some new dries available and we'll be able to open up the club membership again. But we did have to cap it at the 800 membership because it was, we were just running out of wine. But 2019, we did do our largest harvest production. So we did close to 65 tons of grapes. And we did have to go outside the cooperative to find grapes from elsewhere, other local vineyards, some from PG County and Western Maryland. So we were fortunate enough to still keep it local, although we weren't able to grow all of the grapes right on the estate. So it's nice to be able to branch out and have different varieties come in. And but yeah, our club membership, we offer 15% discount for club members. And like I mentioned before, you get 3 bottles shipped, or you can come pick it up every quarter. So it's equivalent to a case a year, and each allotment is not over $65. So that's nice. And we do these fun club pickup parties where you can come in, and we usually have a food truck. And you can come in and enjoy the live music and just relax. And it's kind of like a big happy family. All the club members get to know each other, and we'll usually do a special, winemakers tasting in the back of a barrel that's kind of new and exciting. Or if I want to get the opinions of a new blend, then I get the feedback by offering, tank samples and that kind of thing for our wine club members. So it's fun. And there's certain labels that we have that go only exclusively to the club members, so they definitely get perks. And usually the first releases are to them, so they get all the sneak previews. Like our rosé, we just sent out to all of our Commander's Club members, and so it won't be released to the public until May 1st for Mother's Day. So lots of perks for being a Port of Leonardtown Wine Club member. But yeah, we're excited, and it's once we get things rocking and rolling again, we'll get to see everyone again, hopefully soon.
It's always very nice to have the sustaining support of folks who are members of these clubs who you can rely on being there every quarter to pick up wine and give you their feedback and be engaged. So it's great to hear that both wineries have an opportunity for their consumers and their fans to do that. I think that we've kind of discussed everything that there is to talk about today. We went through some wonderful wines. We talked about the opportunities that the consumers have to get wine directly from your wineries. Are either of your wineries featured in local or regional retail stores outside of the winery?
We're only in one, and again, that's because our production has been so incredibly small. And that's actually at a retail store, Off the Rocks wine store in Baltimore. And we chose them because we had so many customers from Baltimore and Annapolis that would see me at festivals and things, and they would call and say, "Oh, I have to drive all the way down to to Southern Maryland." And when I would say it's really not that far, some would come down, but it was really nice to have. It's nice to have it up there too. I mean, people really do appreciate it. The wine owner there, he was shocked that people actually knew who I was and Janemark was. So it sells very, very well in his store, and we're happy to be a part of that. We'll expand once we get our production up a little bit. And this year we'll be bottling about 1,300 cases.
And Lauren, what's retail availability look like for Port of Leonardtown?
Yeah, the majority of our sales are definitely through our tasting room and wine club, but we are available through a handful of grocery stores, Nix of Clinton, McKay's, some of the local grocery stores and wine shops. Majority in Southern Maryland. We haven't branched out too much further, but you can access a list on our website, so polwinery.com, and you can find a list of everywhere that we're located. But the best option is to come to the winery, of course, and come see us and get to see where the wine is made. That's kind of a perk of the tasting room, is you can see right into the production. So for me, I'm pretty much a zoo animal, always on display, where customers can come in and tap on the window, and we're in here making wine and doing blends and that kind of thing. So it's fun to be able to come back and do a tour and that kind of thing. So it's fun. And if you haven't been to Southern Maryland, it is absolutely worth the drive. It's lots going on, like I mentioned earlier. Legacy Wine Trail, which Jane is on, Janemark, and then the new wine trail that we're going to be hopefully launching soon. We're working on with the 3 wineries in St. Mary's County, and then the new distilleries that are opening, and the wine trail that we're working on is going to be the first landing wine trail. So we're excited to get that launched. But yes, St. Mary's, there's the beautiful Amish country, Mennonite, lots of the markets and local produce, and we are surrounded or bordered by the Patuxent and the Potomac River, so lots of waterfront, amazing seafood restaurants, and lots of the arts and entertainment district in Leonardtown, lots of things going on there. And history, we have the first landing museum in Clements, and lots of history going on here, so it's worth the drive to come down and visit us.
Well, that was one heck of a tourism pitch right there, Lauren. I'm very proud of that one. That was good.
Well, yeah, there's lots to do. We love Southern Maryland. It's the place to be.
And for people out there who are watching, Maryland Wine really is about the opportunity to explore the state, see what's going on around Maryland, and learn all about the wineries throughout the land of pleasant living. So with that, I appreciate both of you taking the time this afternoon to join me. This has been really fun. For those watching, if there were any little glitchy things with the video, I apologize. I'm trying some new layouts to make sure that these look very polished and showcase our wonderful wineries in the best light. Nothing more boring than staring at a screen that says Zoom and it's just a bunch of faces that keep popping up. So we tried some new things today. If it gave you motion sickness or anything like that, please let me know in the comments. I also want to give a big shout out to Paige, who was the first person in the comments to shout, "Drink local." We cannot agree with that anymore. And I ask you very, very kindly, if you have the opportunity over the next several weeks to go out and purchase wine, please think about purchasing Maryland wine first. It will support your neighbor businesses. It will support your neighbors who are employed by these businesses, and it directly contributes to agriculture and small business in your state. These wineries, operators, and the winemakers have a huge passion for not only the products that they're making, but also for the communities where they're doing business, and they count on your support every day. For more information about Maryland Wine and the Maryland Wineries Association and any of our nearly 100 members. Visit us at marylandwine.com. Follow Port of Leonardtown on Facebook, and follow Janemark Winery and Vineyard on Facebook. Thank you both very much. Have a wonderful Wednesday afternoon, and I look forward to talking to you in person soon.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.